Or the meeting started for today, so I'll call to order. Um, Welcome, committee members. All of you are welcome. Glad to see you here. Short notice, kind of quick, also to do this, but also the people in the audience, welcome. I'm glad to see everybody here. Can I have a approval for the last meeting? Commissioner Mason made a motion. Do I have a second? Oh, it's just us two? Oh, we have enough for four. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll second and say aye. Agenda items. One was landfill monitoring, just to follow up on it. Adam, I hate to go to you, but how's the landfill monitoring going so far?
As far as I'm concerned, it's going well. We receive reports daily now at 6 a.m. The mayor's office, your assistant receives them as well as the landfill management team. So those are received at 6 a.m. every morning and have been consistent for almost a month now. So
We're doing much better. Are they easier to get hold of at this point?
They come automatically via email, so we don't have to go looking for them.
Good. We have a representative from Landfill Republic. Are you guys using these monitoring or read off, or using the monitoring system any at all to help you with your information? I'm hoping that they're giving you some guidance and direction to go. And we have some people from the public also. We came in, we were talking about the sludge. Unfortunately, okay. Well, if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to move on to another item that was on here. It was disposal cost of the mattress and box springs. I'm glad you're here. This kind of come up because it's something we've been talking about quite a bit. Is there anyone that's wanting to speak with that? Tim, did you want to talk on it?
Well, I'll say, since I'm a part of that, we have been seeing a number of mattresses and box springs thrown out on county and state right of ways in the past several weeks too, that I'm having to pick up.
Mr. Mason, would you have a number of how many of that's went up recently?
Well, I can tell by the fee going up at the landfill that the people have definitely started throwing out their mattresses and whatnots. More mattresses than anything else. I would think. I know within probably the last 2 or 3 weeks, I probably picked up 20, 25 mattresses, and we have 800 square miles, so we cover a lot of property when people call and say they've been dumped out in the roadways or the ditches.
Do you want to speak on this? Because I'll be honest with you, I get several calls about the mattresses and the cost of it. Box springs is another, and I think, and you can correct me on this, but I think the reason was over the springs that was in them. That's why the price is so high on it, which is, I think, at $50 for mattress and box springs.
I did not know prices had gone up. If they have,
okay,
have they gone up?
They went up a while back.
Okay,
what I can
not
understand,
as of 1/1.
Not as
okay.
of 1/1, but we've still gotten complaints all the way through.
Okay.
The issue came in with when they went up to it's $50, I believe, a mattress, and then $50 box springs. To be quite honest, one of the questions I asked that was asked of me was somebody called me and they said, "Well, I've got a box springs," and I said, "Yeah, I realize that, but due to the springs is the reason." It was explained that they went up, and they said, "Well, the box springs doesn't have any springs. It's just a wooden material." I said, "Well, okay." And then I've had people say, "Well, I've got a mattress, but it has no. It's just foam. Why that?" So I think that was some of the questions that I thought were legit questions, or legitimate questions to ask. So like I say, I'm glad you're here. But can you now just give your name and so
David
on?
Hollinshed, Republic Services.
Thank you. Just for the recording. I know you, David. I know you well. But anyway, if you can answer that for me, or
I just know both box springs and mattresses are very hard to manage in the landfill. But I can get a formal response back to you on that as to the pricing. And,
Yes.
And why that's done, and make that to you for the committee's attention.
I noticed that Doug Berry, I believe it was, came to a commission meeting and he had made a statement that in surrounding counties, some that's actually operated, some landfills is actually operated by Republic. Those prices are much cheaper on a box springs and mattress. Is there a reason that it's higher here than it is in other places?
I don't, like I said, I'll have to review those and get back. I did not know this was going to come up today, so
It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, actually. Sorry about that,
I
but
apologize.
if that is something we can look at and just get something back to the reason it is, and we'll probably have to meet again later on this other incident because of Commissioner Gilbert, his issue. I'm pretty sure he wanted to be here today, so we'll probably have to come back on it later on. But
I'll get back with you.
all right, thank you. Okay. And now we'll go back to item B, which we had to skip over that, the sludge. So the situation came up a while back from Commissioner Gilbert. He had asked about a law that basically prevented sludge. I think he understood it as sludge would wouldn't be able to come into the county or Tennessee if this law passed. I'd asked the county attorney to look into that, and she is here now, but I don't know if you've had time to look at that or not.
So I think his concerns and what he was talking about is not really sludge related. It was more related to things that are put on fields and regulations on that. So I'm not aware of anything that would affect sludge that's being brought into the landfill.
Okay.
And as far as I know, there's not been any legislation similar to that here locally or in the state of Tennessee. So, unless something like that happens, but it was mostly related to putting whatever this substance is, sludge, whatever you want to call it, on fields as fertilizer, and then that having some sort of impact.
Okay.
So
it's more
regulation on that.
Environmental regulation.
Correct.
Sort of.
I don't think that would affect, anything related to landfill. Certainly if they passed legislation that affected the entire state of Tennessee, then, Republic would be bound by any sort of regulation on that.
Thank you. David, do you want to speak on that on behalf of Republic? What about the sludge and what that law would have to do, or how that would hurt, or what it would affect in Bradley County as far as the landfill?
The research that we've done as preliminary, I think, come from a Missouri statute that was brought up. Our lobbyists have told us that statute will not pass in Missouri, and it was basically brought up to prevent land application of wastewater treatment sludges in Missouri. And land application is one of the two possibilities right now for wastewater treatment.
If something like that was to pass here as far as farmland, what do you think would occur after that point? Because like I said, the way I understood the law may be different than I kind of understood it like county attorney, that it was actually affecting farmland where they use it as fertilizer.
That's where land application is typically done with sludges, is on that farmland and that type of.
And if that went away, what would happen with that process? Do you know by any chance?
The only other place for sludges at that point would be Subtitle D landfill. And
just I don't know if Commissioner, I understand the way the process is set up. We had a meeting recently on that. Would you have an issue with just explaining to the audience and us how the sludge is handled at Republic, at our landfill?
At your landfill, there's two approval processes that have to be done. One, a Republic special waste process, and then two, the TDEC process for approval, which is an application and analytical information. TDEC comes back with an approval letter. Republic comes back with an approval letter. And then that material can be landfilled in the Bradley County landfill. The key for Bradley County is We are only permitted right now to accept 4 loads of that particular wastewater treatment sludge at the landfill through TDEC. So we could not accept any more of that right now, and will not make application to take more.
Okay. David, if I was to ask for the audience and people, 4 loads, a load would consist of how many tons?
25 tons.
25 tons. So we're looking at about 100 tons a
100
day.
tons a day.
And
When
has
when
that,
previously there were 400 tons a day coming in of that material.
I know in the past it's been an issue, and it sometimes is now, of just controlling just sludge or waste treatment materials that's coming in. Is it getting any better or easier? I know you guys are doing all you can at this point, and it seems like it's getting better. But I know I've had complaints myself. But are you guys working? What are you doing to try to solve that problem?
The sludge in particular?
As far as the issues it's coming, I'm assuming it's coming off the sludge. It may be something else. It could just be the landfill itself, where I'm having complaints of odors and things like that coming in.
The sludge itself can only come in between 9 and 2, and it has to be an hour apart, hour to 30 minutes apart on the loads, and has to be covered as soon as it. The landfill itself, we're covering on a daily basis to try to minimize odor. I will say, and I will be upfront, we had a problem last Tuesday night.
Okay.
And we did not get covered, and we got cited by TDEC.
Okay.
And we are working as we speak to correct those issues and go forward. We've brought in an SOS team, and we have 3 additional operators, and we have an area landfill manager here as we speak to get those problems corrected at the landfill. So we're moving forward to make those issues go away.
That won't sound silly. SOS, what does that stand for?
SOS, just like anything in the world, we need help.
Okay. Thank you guys for that. I'm glad to see you're working hard to try to straighten it out.
Absolutely.
And I noticed also that during the report, I'd heard that the manager and several other people were driving around neighborhoods and literally speaking with people that live close to it, just trying to educate them and get to know them well. How is that working?
I think it's working better. We're trying to, instead of calling TDEC, we're now trying to work with the neighborhood, the neighbors, and have them call the manager. And when they have an issue, call the manager, and he'll come out immediately, speak with them, and see what's going on at their place, instead of going through TDEC and then coming back to the manager and trying to get there. It's a much more efficient way of trying to take care of the issue at the point of attack, so we can see where that odor's coming from.
Yeah. I think that what I've seen compared to past, Republic seems to be doing much better. We still have our incidents here and there, and it's not good when they happen, but it's not. I can honestly say in the past, I remember showing up at some of these people's houses and you couldn't breathe. You literally could not breathe. So with that, I say congratulations, you're doing better.
Thank you, sir.
I think that the fact that you're meeting the public is good, to hopefully work through some things to where they understand also. Trust is a hard thing there. These people were actually done wrong. I hate to admit that, but they were done wrong at one time. Not lack of us. It's just we didn't know better. The easiest way to put it. So I think you got a long road to go to build that trust with the neighborhood that's around it and the people there. But I think if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll probably get there eventually. But it's going to take a lot of work. I know that much.
We appreciate that, and we're working on it every day. Thank you for your words.
Thank you also, David.
Have a nice day.
Is there anything else? With no further, we're going to move on and we'll go to, is there any other business? At this point, I'll open it to the public. Kenneth, if you will just, I know who you are, but if you will just say your name and address and go from there, or if you just.
Okay, I'm Kenneth Roark, and I reside at 300 Roark Lane, McDonald, Tennessee.
Thank you.
Speaking about the sludge, we like a ways being there. I know there's, implementations, on the new permit or the 180-day permit. Requires the landfill to, process this sludge a particular way.
Mhm.
So far, there has been several instances, it's got into the neighborhood, and one implementation in the process I'm a little worried about. It says that, I think it says that they take this to beside the tipper where there's the most garbage, and then they process it there and sort of solidify it where it will not create any problems in the landfill when they dig their wells or their lateral lines. That sludge will get in these lines and clog them up because of the jello-like substance that it is when it's dumped. So this process worries me still a little bit. It's still, after it's mixed, the way I read, it's supposed to be spread out in the nearest part of the work face on the surface, and anytime that sludge goes to the surface, we're going to smell it, or usually the community will smell that. I don't, we was going to see that process the other day during our meeting at the landfill, but we didn't get to because of the weather. So, but still, just from reading the process of that, I still worry about that. Now, another concern I have, the landfill wants the community to go straight to them instead of TDEC. Well, the other day, when they got those violations, if we'd went straight to them, then I don't think that problem would have been solved yet. So I think still we got to report to them, and we got to report to the TDEC what's happening, so everybody's aware of what's going on. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm not ready to just go to TDEC. I mean, I do talk with the manager and text. We text when this is happening. He's been in the community. He's talked to the community like we asked them to do. They're doing that, and the manager has went and spent quite a bit of time with some of those people that call. So I'm happy with that, because that entices them to maybe have a slightly different opinion of the way they want to present, things to TDEC and everybody else. So they're being explained to what's going on. But we still like, I think, a long ways, taking care of this sludge. I still, I think there's going to be some legislation soon by our state representative. I think he's going to bring some stuff up in the state. And my goal is all sludge be processed and where it don't have any odor, just like our own Cleveland Utilities does. They process their sludge, and I talked to a guy the other day. They pile this sludge up into a big long shed for several months, and then they hire a trucking firm to come and haul all that sludge away. I don't know where they take it. They didn't know where they take it, but maybe they take it to the landfills or whatever. But I think as long as we have this raw sludge coming into our landfills, we're going to have a problem. And the landfill's fixing to move their sale to the north end of the landfill, which will help the south end tremendously. I know it will. They won't get all that odor because they're right on top of this community, and that's the reason we've had this odor from trash and everything else for about 7 years now. And unfortunately, that gas system was put on the south end near this community, and then all the sludge and trash, and over the years, they haven't stopped bringing it in on the community. So I'm just praying whenever they take this thing to the north end, it won't affect the north end as bad, but I'm looking for better living conditions in the south end, because it's just every week, a day or two a week, that living conditions are just not good from that landfill. There's conditions in the place to take care of all this, and I see daily. My own opinion, compliance is just not there. It's just like on the south slope right now. They have been working on it 2 or 3 days now. They've greatly improved it, but still they're putting dirt on it, and I still see white trash or this manville waste still showing through. Now, to me, that ain't covered until all that is hidden. You can't see nothing. And that's the way I would like to see it. And then we know it's been covered and we don't get that gas. I just come by there this morning. There's so much heat coming out of that landfill this morning. It's like a fog. You can see the fog coming off of it. It's like you know, that's how much gas and stuff comes out of that landfill if it's not handled correctly.
Kenneth, if I can ask you a question real quick. To me, it's important that we have a communication between Republic at this point and the community. Do you see personally, because you're part of that community, you're kind of the head of that community, truthfully. What are you seeing from that? Does it seem like they're getting better at communicating with you, or do you, and I realize we're a long ways from here to it being perfect by all means, but are you feeling like it's better that you're able to communicate with them and go from there, basically?
Oh, certainly. I mean, yeah, used to the landfill wouldn't communicate with me. There was a time they wouldn't communicate with anybody, you know, about a problem. So they are doing that now.
Good.
And I'm well pleased with that, and they're retaliating, you know. So hopefully we can just work on the cover. That was just I don't know what happened the other day when they got those V2s. I mean, the second shift crew, I guess it was, they got hired to cover all this. They just went home, left the workplace open. You could see it. And here again, the big slope is just not covered. It's not covered daily. They got some tarps there. Mm-hmm. They say they cover it tarps. They might cover the crest up there a little bit, but they can't even cover that whole bank with tarps. I mean, I don't think in a night looked like it.
I noticed whenever I seen I actually read the violation myself, so I knew about the violation, but they were, one of the things was they had to go to a smaller work site with it, and I'm assuming that's one of the things you guys are working on that. Hopefully we can keep moving forward the direction we're going. You're instrumental on it. I'll be quite honest with you. I depend on you a lot to find out, because I hear a lot, and then normally if I get one call from one person, I'll wait to see what you say, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's some stuff going on here. Yeah. But I know I've called them myself, just sent texts myself, and they seem to be working better with the community. I know I've been pleasantly surprised compared to what the prior company was, and I don't, you know. So I think we're headed down the right road, and I think you're right. I think that both need to be reported to TDEC and them, just to be kept up on what's going on, because I look forward to the day that you notify TDEC and say, man, they're doing a great job. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing that day, and I truly believe it will come one day. I truly believe
TDEC's getting a lot of pressure applied to them now by our state representative and other people, so they are stepping up, and the landfill might as well expect it. They are doing much better, you know, coming and trying to find out what the community's really complaining about.
Yeah.
But I mean, anybody in this whole room right now, if you ever experienced that sludge, there's nothing like it. It's one of the most horrible living conditions, and I feel so sorry for those.
I do too.
And you know, I'll close saying that, I guess, but I just like to see the landfill really step up and work toward the compliance of 6 inches on that on the work face every day, covering and compacting. They're supposed to run the dozer, you know, compact it so there ain't no odor comes out of that work face. Mm-hmm. Work face is supposed to be as small as possible, and I understand it's not being that way. They're getting it scattered out a little bit larger than it's supposed to be, so therefore we're going to get more garbage odors and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The smaller it is, less odor comes off of it. And then on the intermediate areas, I'd love to see them be in compliance. 12 inches of dirt compacted, and steps are in place. If they would just follow that, I don't think we'd have any problem.
Yeah.
And the sludge, though, still receiving sludge. I'm not happy yet with the way it's being processed. I think we're still getting some 30-minute, 45-minute odors, and then it'll go away. But I'm a little bit worried about the process in that regulation of covering it now. It's being spread out on a real thin layer, being spread out on the.
Which we can see what's going to happen from there. I think
Yeah.
that David and them, I can't blame David himself for not being able to cover it or having it covered at that time, because it falls under the people that's under them.
Yeah.
They can direct and put orders and do what they're going to do, but they're, in the end, it's still going to fall upon those people there.
Yeah.
Now, management itself should be making sure it's done. And I think that, so should there be some response? Yeah, a little bit, but at the same sense, I'm not going to expect.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
see
sure.
something happen every once in a while, because, I mean, that's just human. People are human.
Yeah, I'm sure David's responsibility of the landfill is not aware of everything that's happening there, and I'm not pounding on him today.
But I think
I
with
just want him to understand what we've experienced, the community has experienced the last few weeks, and hopefully he'll know what's going on.
I think with your help of notifying him and the manager, the actual manager over there, Ryan's one I'm trying to think of. I think actually notifying both of them puts them more in the know, because I'm sure that you've sent them stuff that they didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
So they've in the past been able to correct it before it becomes an issue.
I'm a little bit concerned about what I hear about processing this sludge. It's got too much mercury, and I think some of these larger landfills are enticing that not to be put on pasture fields and corn fields and that type of stuff, because then they get it all. And
unfortunately,
I understand why, but these communities close to these landfills, they've got to consider what living conditions they are, and I just think my experience so far, Athens, and here they still have problems in Athens. I got some contacts up there that contact me regular, about they're getting sludge odor too. So it seems like every landfill that gets sludge, the community gets some of the results.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's like what you were saying, 45 minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I do remember going out and it being all night long.
Oh, yeah.
So when I say it's much better, it's much better than what it was. Now, does that make it 100% the best ever? No, not by any means.
Well, Thursday, Friday after Thanksgiving, it was all day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I heard about that.
And I don't know what happened that day. I texted Ryan. He said, I'll go up there and see, but I never did hear back exactly. And then I asked him again when we had our meeting at Landfill, and he said, it's done his shoulders. He don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I think that stuff, once it gets to the surface of that work face, it's going to go like 2 or 3 miles. If the wind's blowing, I mean, it's come to my house. I live 3 miles away, and it's come to my house occasionally. And I for sure let them know when it comes to my house, because I know the citizens around that landfill, it's horrible there.
Yeah.
So anyway, if they'll just work on those items, and I'm sure they're on their employees now, and dozer operators and that kind of stuff after what happened the other day. I'm sure they're going to make a change. And I appreciate David being here, and he can go back and talk whatever we say.
Mr. Roark, thank you for what you're doing. Also keeping up with the community and doing your part and making sure David and them are aware of what's going on also. I definitely look at it as a plus on my side, as far as having somebody that is actually watching, and just having one person reporting on this makes it easier too, because you don't lose everything in the process. It's kind of like one word. transfers down, it changes by the time we get there. But anyway, Mr. Ark, thank you, and if there's anyone else who wishes to
Okay,
speak,
thank you.
no one else wants to speak today? Seeing no more, we are adjourned.